Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, I did a video for Martin Luther King Jr. Day last night, but it didn't really turn out very well. There were some problems with it. So I thought, well, that was all right. Sometimes it's nice to talk to a spirit a little bit more to get more in line with what I'm hearing. So today we'll do one. I've done a medium reading for Martin Luther King Jr. before and loved it. His energy is so amazing. I do believe he is an ascended master over there. He's someone who works with a lot of people. He's someone who is still fighting for the good, and but with love, you know, just powerful, powerful help coming from him. Truth. I just hear that. That's the sort of truth. So last time I did the medium reading, I heard sort of with a chuckle, you know, you don't have to do medium readings. His speeches and his writings, very often they were absolutely inspired. You know, they were exactly what he would say now from the other side, because he had sort of a real presence on the other side. Martin Luther King Jr., he had abilities. I think he would have called them prophecy. And I don't know if he ever publicly owned that or if others ever attributed it to him. But yeah, you know, he knew things. He knew things. He knew some things coming. Much of what he spoke about was revelation. It was revelation. It wasn't simply his wisdom. He knew it was coming from the oneness with God, from the oneness with spirit and source. He knew that. And so yeah, I have been enjoying reading some of his writings and reading some of his speeches, hearing some of them again. And it's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. But at the same time, kind of heartbreaking too, because I believe, you know, that he was our greatest loss here in the U.S. in the 20th century. I really do. There were so many losses, of course, and around World War II and the Holocaust, you know. But as far as a world leader, in the U.S., I believe Martin Luther King Jr. was our greatest loss that century. But he is not lost, because he continues. He continues to work through people today. So I thought I would ask him, also, what does he think of the Black Lives Matter protests? I got a lot of sadness. I got a feeling of sadness. I mean, great pride in the Black Lives Matter protesters. Great pride and love and warmth and just terrific support for them. I got that from him. But I also got a sense of sadness that police brutality and racial inequality, racial injustices in our law enforcement, in our criminal justice system, our law enforcement system has just got so bad when we should have been getting better. You know, a lot of sadness about that too. But what do you think? What would you like to tell us, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? You know, I humbly ask you to choose the cards and provide a message that you would like to provide. Yeah. And I have a sense he'll talk to us. He'll talk to you. He'll talk to me. Okay, we have the Eight of Swords. Okay, we have a lot of ideas that we take for granted that we think are just the way things are, and they're not. So there are a lot of ideas that we have all as a culture decided, well, it's got to be this way, or you can't do anything about this, or you can't do anything about that. Pff, wrong, 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 wrong. This is what I'm hearing. Wrong. It's 100% wrong. There's been a lot of giving up in our government, a lot of giving up on racial inequalities, you know, financially, a lot of giving up on these sort of embedded kinds of inequities, but also financial inequality in general. There's been a lot of acting like, well, we can't do anything about it, when the truth is nobody has just done a darn thing about it for a long time. Nobody's just done anything about it for a long time. We've had the wealthier growing wealthier, and we still have voter suppression in Black and brown communities. We still have severely underfunded schools in Black and brown communities. We still have structural racism. We still have all these things, and we just act like, well, what are you going to do? And he's just saying, no, none of this stuff has to be this way. The challenge, the Three of Cups, I feel like that's okay. Democratic Party this has been that a lot in my readings, is celebrating right now. Okay, but that doesn't mean magically these things get fixed. All right. Underneath it all, we have the Three of Coins. Underneath, in the dark spaces, there's negotiating that happens that is just not helpful. It's secret. There are forces that want to protect the status quo, that want to keep on increasing. And with our lawmakers, consulting with our lawmakers, this is a problem. Past is the Six of Cups, nostalgia. We have a fake nostalgia. We have a false narrative about the past. So we do still have a lot of that romanticizing of the 50s and the 60s and the 70s. And we have so many white Americans who want to go back to that. It wasn't that great. And it certainly wasn't good for minorities. And we have a lot of people, we do have a lot of these groups, these domestic terrorist laden groups, romanticizing that time period and wanting to keep their privilege. So I feel a sense of great disappointment that we're not further along than we could be. I do. I feel this, but yet fierce pride too. Fierce pride in his people, Fierce pride in Black Americans for their endurance. And I feel like for the younger generation's ability to, not just the younger generation, but for some reason he's showing me the younger people, ability to forgive and to work cooperatively to move forward in spite of knowing all that they know, knowing all of the things that can make a person really angry and bitter. Because they're a well-informed generation. Wow. Okay. So above it all, sword of truth. He was telling me a lot about that yesterday. Sword of truth. That stay close to the truth and we'll be fine. Truth should be our guiding force. Magician in the immediate future. He's saying there's so much we could manifest right now. He's wanting us to get excited. He's wanting us to get excited. Because just because the Democratic Party is now in power in Washington, we still have to push for the things to be manifested, but a lot could be manifested. Ace of Coins at the root of the matter. Money, 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 money in politics. Too much. And also though, people need greater security in general. That greed and avarice in the home environment, this is a problem. Yes, because I know Dr. King was talking a lot about classism and inequality, financial inequality in general, not certainly worse for communities, minority communities, but getting worse for everybody. An issue, a real problem. Okay. 10 of Cups for the hopes and fears. He hopes there's real security coming in, a real security for families. Outcome, there he puts Biden up there. Okay, he's saying, I just feel like he's saying, yes, the Democrats will be in charge for a while. Make the most of it. 7 of Cups, watch out for illusion and confusion, because there will be still a lot of that. People purposely peddling misinformation. 10 of Wands, it will be a lot of hard work. But there are a number of fronts that we can all be involved in advocating for: change, fairness, racial equality. And yes, you know, reparations. But reparations are about, my God, let's fix the inequities that occur still. My God, let's start there. Let's, we shouldn't have to have children in Black and brown communities having poorer chance of succeeding at their school because their school is not as good as other schools. You know, we shouldn't have that still. Why do we have that still? You know, why do we have that still? You know, let's just start there, for God's sakes. That kind of thing. Let's start with the voter suppression. Let's start there. So anyway, I'm feeling a lot of urgency as I talked to Dr. King here. But it's almost like there's an opportunity now. Grab it. That's what I'm hearing. Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. King. We will all talk a lot with our lawmakers and vote in force. Yes. And the press, we will support the free press. Yes, because that is our protection as well. We would have lost it. I think we might have lost our democracy if not for the free press, but it's something we have to keep fighting for. Okay. All right. Well, thank you a lot. Thank you a lot to everyone who listens and who loves Dr. King's teachings. And thank you, Dr. King. And I just feel so privileged that so many people are part of this community that cares about justice. And take care. Bye-bye.